And I'll second that motion.
We have a motion made by Gary, seconded by Philip to read the resolution. Jeff, do you need me to pull that up here in a minute for you? Or do you
I've got it here on my screen,
Okay.
but
All those in favor signify by saying aye to allow the resolution to be read.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I did share the screen here, so council, if you want to follow along as he's reading it, you can.
yeah, the only thing I don't have is a resolution number here, and I don't necessarily need that.
Jeff, it's 2021-1.
21-1, that's easy. So this would be resolution number 2021-1, resolution of the city of Tell City, Indiana pertaining to the approval of the conveyance of real property. Whereas the city of Tell City, Indiana owns certain real estate described in the attached Exhibit A and as shown on the map attached here as Exhibit B. And whereas the town of Troy has requested the city convey the real property of the town of Troy to be added to its inventory of streets so long as it is able to receive community crossing funds to improve the real property. Whereas each of the city and the town of Troy are political subdivisions under Indiana Code Section 36-1-2-13 and are therefore eligible entities under Indiana Code Section 36-1-11 and have the authority to complete the conveyance and transfer the property under Indiana Code Section 36-1-11-8. And whereas Town of Troy has determined it would be advisable for the Town of Troy to receive the real property and add it to the Town of Troy's inventory of streets. Whereas the city and Town of Troy propose to approve the conveyance. Whereas the Town of Troy has adopted a substantially similar resolution to this resolution, authorizing the transfer, exchange, and acquisition of the real property as required by Indiana Code Section 36-1-11-8. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Tell City, Indiana that Section 1, the foregoing recitals and attached exhibits are incorporated herein by reference and are ratified, confirmed, and approved. Section 2, the city hereby approves, confirms, and ratifies the execution, delivery, and performance of the conveyance and authorizes the mayor and clerk treasurer of the city, collectively authorized officers, and each an authorized officer, singly or otherwise, to execute and deliver the conveyance with such changes in form or substance as the authorized officers who execute the conveyance and the redevelopment, that should say in the town of Troy deem appropriate. I'm going to make that change right now.
Right here.
Correct. I've made the change on mine. Their approval and acceptance of such changes to be evidenced by their execution and delivery thereof. Section 3, the city hereby finds that the transfer of the real property to the town of Troy to be expedient and in the best interests of the city and desirable or necessary for the proper serving of the constituents of the city. Section 4, the city hereby approves, confirms, authorizes, and directs any authorized officer for and on behalf of and in the name of the city to do any and all other acts and things and to execute and deliver any and all other documents, certificates, instruments, statements, and other items as may be necessary or appropriate to perform all the terms, provisions, and conditions of the conveyance. Section 5, the taking of any action or execution of any instrument by the authorized officers in connection with the foregoing resolutions shall be conclusive of such authorized officer's determination that the same was necessary to serve the best interests of the city. Section 6, if any section, paragraph, or provision of this resolution shall be held to be invalid or unenforceable for any reason, the invalidity or unenforceability of such section, paragraph, or provision shall not affect any of the remaining provisions of this resolution. Section 7, all resolutions and parts of resolutions in conflict herewith are repealed. Section 8, this resolution shall be in full force after its passage and approval by the mayor. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Tell City, Indiana, this 22nd day of May, 2021. The rest is
All right,
just
council, you've heard the first and only reading, I guess, of the resolution. They only require one reading just because it's not ordinance. So if there's no further questions, you need to change this down here, Jeff. 1919 changed.
yeah.
I just happened to see that as I was reading. But I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion made by Julie. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Philip. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, council, thank you all very much. That's all we have on the agenda today. We will be coming back to discuss this little piece right here later at a later date, okay? this little
I'm doing some
cul-de-sac,
research on it right now.
about deeding that over to Megget, however that, the process has, because we're not deeding over to a town, it's a little different here. But,
There's a statutory provision for deeding property to adjoining landowners. Trying to figure out now whether it fits in within a threshold for an exception to the requirement that it be appraised. If it has to be appraised, we'll talk to Alvin about that because he's the economic development folks. The
Yeah.
ones driving.
it'd be crazy to have that appraised, but
I think it would be too. We're
It'd
just
be the most
trying to figure out if we can find an exception to avoid it.
But so just keep that in mind. What you've done is from this, basically from Yellow Point to Yellow Point, this piece is not included, so there's no confusion on that, so.
And Connie, I just emailed the revised version with my changes to you.
Okay,
I'll get those signed here in just a
As well
minute.
as the exhibits.
okay. And do you want Chris to go ahead and sign the copy of the deed that I have here also?
Let's wait on that until I get the updates from the auditor.
Okay, okay.
All right, I'll sign what needs signed so she can send that out. So there's nothing
Can I
else
just
to bring.
email them back to you, Jeff?
That's fine.
Okay, I didn't know if you needed originals.
Thank
Okay.
you all on a Friday
We
afternoon.
got adjourned still, so don't hang, nobody get off. There's nothing else on the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Larry to hear a second.
Second.
Seconded by Gary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a great week.